If I was sitting my GCSEs again next year, this is everything that I would do from this point to make sure I got perfect grades. And look, if I could go back in time and tell my 14-year-old self this, I really would, because I did not get perfect grades at GCSE. I got majority grade 9s, however, I did in fact get 2A. This is how I would make sure I was preparing more effectively for those exams. If you like this video, you find it helpful, be sure to save it for later, send it to a friend who needs to see it, and follow if you want to see daily GCSE tips. First things first, you need to make sure you're understanding things as you go along. And no, this is not just about content. This is not just you understanding osmosis. This is you understanding how to get the marks in the exam. That's exam technique. This is what I was missing out on. And this is why I did get those 2.8s in the end. I was just brute remembering facts instead of understanding how to apply them to an exam setting. In science, if you literally had no idea how to answer one of the 6-mark questions, you could get around 3 marks for just banging down definitions and applying your knowledge to that specific setting, even if you do no analysis. If you thoroughly understand how the marks are allocated in every single one of those 6-mark questions, and you have some baseline knowledge, just don't understand how to use it to analyze this situation, you can still pick up a good half of the marks. So if you take one thing away from this video, I want it to be that. Make sure you familiarise yourself with exam technique, particularly for essay-based subjects. They were the bane of my existence. However, the content changes throughout the course of the 2 years. The exam technique doesn't, and you need to make sure you have got it nailed down for those exams. Next up is be creating your revision resources as you go along and be reviewing them somewhat frequently. So just be going over your Quizlet flashcards every now and then. When you have a free minute, maybe when you're on the bus, you can be doing your history flashcards or your English flashcards. Critically, focusing on those topics you're not currently doing in the class, because it's all about spaced repetition. The biggest mistake the students make is just creating all of these revision resources, these posters, these mind maps, these flashcards, and then not using them until exam season. There is so much content for GCSE. You are doing 10, 11, 12 subjects. If you do not consistently review the content, there is just no way that you are going to be able to cram absolutely everything during exam season. Next up, I would develop a more rigid study timetable. And no, I'm not saying make sure you revise chemistry for an hour on Tuesdays and then biology for an hour. No, I would make sure I had a routine. So I was getting in from school, I was making sure I was then doing my homework, or then I was doing my flashcards, or then I was doing this extracurricular or this supercurricular or this additional thing that I wanted to do on top of school. Because my revision had literally no structure until around January, February, year 11. And that made it very difficult for me to get into revision, to figure out which revision strategies worked for me. Do little and often, consistency beats intensity. If you like this video, be sure to follow for more daily GCSE tips.